What's going on, everybody? I hope you are all doing awesome. So today we're going to talk about three, guns, pistols, rifles, whatever that I think you need. That's right, three. And this is not like the best three or the three that have been in service the longest. This is just after all the stuff that I've done in my life, the three that I would kind of choose. Now there is going to be tons of butt hurt on this one, because anytime you say, oh, these are my top three, or these are the three that I would go get, inevitably people are going to disagree with you and say, no, what about this one? Or what about that one? And remember, there's plenty of room for everything you want to carry. And this is just the opinion of a dude on the internet. So granted, I've got a little bit of experience when it comes to firearms and guns and rifles and stuff. I was super lucky, was able to serve in the special operations in the military. I was in law enforcement. I've done some private security work. So I've got a little bit of experience, and through that stuff, these are kind of three things when I take myself out of the equation and look at everybody of different sizes, ages, three that I think would be absolutely great to go with for several different reasons. I'm going to explain each one. Now, these are my favorite. They may not be your favorite, or your buddy or your sister or your uncle or Bob down by the river who makes sure reloaded ammo for you. But these are mine. And these are a couple of things that I took into account, or a few things I took into account while thinking about these. Availability, capacity, power, and the overall ease of use when it comes to these things. So if this is your first time here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn those bell notification icons on, and if at any point you feel I deserved it, go ahead and hammer that thumbs up button. So we're gonna go ahead and start off with the three rigs that I think I would buy, or I think you should buy if you're getting into it, or if you want just a solid three to get going. Well, let's go ahead and let the butt hurt begin. And this may be, I guess, expected by some of you, or expected by a lot of you, not expected by others based on some other recent videos. It's gonna be the Glock 19. Now, I don't care what generation it is, but let's talk about my top 5 reasons that this one is in the top 3 of things I would own. And theirs aren't in, per se, any general order. It's just the order that they're sitting here on the table. Reason number 1, this thing is prolific. There are so many Glock 19s out there. And there are other versions of the Glock that have a lot of compatibility with this, which we'll get into more in a second. But just the overall availability of these things makes it just an absolutely great choice. It doesn't have the best ergonomics. It does go bang every time for the most part, unless you do something really dumb with it and break it. But it's got to be in that top 3 just for the overall amount of these things that are out there. And number 2, this thing is one of the most durable pistols out there. We've all seen people beat on them, throw them in mud, shoot them, use bad ammo. I've seen these things have double charges where it only broke the guide rod and the thing still finished the match that the dude was shooting. These things are some of the most durable pistols out there. Some of that could come down to the fact that they're a little sloppy and wide on tolerances, but they are generally going to work. There are people out there who have thousands and thousands of rounds through these things and have never cleaned them, because somewhere along the line, somebody was like, it's just so trustable, durable, whatever. I just don't even have to clean it. Clean your stuff, but that is a huge, huge positive in the durability factor. And number 3 is gonna be reliability, especially across all of the ammo types out there. Generally, pretty much any type of ammo is gonna get eaten by this thing. Whether it's reloads, whether it's low power, whether it's higher powered, whether it is self-defense ammo, hollow point, hydro, whatever kind of ammo you want, as long as it's meant to go in that thing. I have not really seen too many problems with ammo when it comes to a Glock 19 or any other Glock for that matter, as long as the ammo was made appropriately and not by Bob down by the river. And if there's any Bobs out there, I'm sorry, that's just the name that came to mind, kind of like Bob's your uncle. Now, number 4, these mags are awesome. They last a long time, they work, but the best thing about the 19 is you can use the 17 mags, the 34 mags, the 19 mags, the Glock 45 mags. Any magazine that is for the 17 or that full-size 9mm is going to fit and work appropriately in the 19, whether you have a Gen 3, Gen 4, or Gen 5. The only thing you need to pay attention to is some of the older mags that aren't set up for left and right-handed releases. If you swap your mag release and you have some old Gen 3 mags, you've got to have the mag release on the the left side, so for a right-handed person. Otherwise, you won't be able to lock or drop your mag out. Other than that, There's a ton of aftermarket mags too. You got extendo mags, you got drums, but the factory stuff, being able to swap back and forth, absolutely awesome. And number 5 for the 19 is gonna be parts availability, because they are everywhere. Like, your grandma probably has a Glock connector up in the attic somewhere because she built a Polymer 80 for herself. The parts are just so prolific, so easy to get your hands on, and so many of them cross over into the different sizes that it's just absolutely outstanding. You have all of those options. And then of course the aftermarket is completely wide open when it comes to the Glock name just in general. And just to clear up one more thing, these are just, like I said, my 3 that I think are good, versatile, and fit a lot across the spectrum. Now this is by no means a zombie apocalypse what I would choose, because if it comes time for me to start throwing this stuff on and running around my own neighborhood, there may be some other things I would choose, especially if I'm looking for some more range. So keep that in mind. This isn't like prepper zombie apocalypse top 3. This is like average person having fun doing some cool training kind of top 3. And the second one we're going to talk about, and like I said, not in any specific order, because this is actually my least favorite rifle platform, because I'm just not that good with it and I don't have much time on it. And I just like other things better, but there is no denying the AK-47. Now, there is a caveat to that. You've got to get a good one. Now, it has been said that the AK is designed so well that it can be built really, really poorly and it's still gonna run. It's just a matter of how long. Now, that is definitely true. This thing will quite literally survive on a diet of steel-cased ammo and Mobile One synthetic far longer than anything else out there that I actually know of. So my top reason for the AK, this one is a Zastava, you know, the M70 out of that Yugo style platform. A little bit different. It's got some longer stuff going on here than some of the other AKs. I am not an AK expert. I can run them, just not my chosen platform. But number 1, again, prolific. Everybody knows the Choppa. The AK is world renowned. Certain parts of the world, every 12-year-old has an AK, and they're just popular everywhere you go. Good parts interchangeability, but there's a lot of different versions of AKs, AK variants, so you've got to know what you are doing. Overall, they shoot pretty good. There's good stuff going on. You can pretty much bury the thing in a tomb in sand in 3,000 years, open it up like King Tut's tomb, and it's still gonna run, putting a little bit of Mobile One synthetic on it. Mike, give me the AK. All right. And number 2 for the AK, which is, it's a little weird right now because of the times we're living in, but generally the ammo for the AK was like dirt cheap. I mean, like 99 bucks, 1,000 rounds cheap sometimes in the past several years, 199 bucks. That's a lot of rounds, a lot of fun, and this thing will eat every bit of that 1,000 rounds with like not even any lube on it for the most part. But that was just a super huge positive for the AK platform. Modern times, it's getting a little weird, but that's probably gonna level out at some point, but still, that cheap ammo is just a huge plus, because let's just face it, money doesn't grow on trees, neither does ammo, and we're all lacking both of those right now. And number 3 is that durability and reliability. Again, I don't think there's another rifle out there that's got as many rounds around the world through it as this thing. The reliability, the durability, I think like Mac from Military Arms Channel actually like filled his with like gummy bears or something, and there was still one stuck in the action at one point, and the thing was still running. So the things you can do to an AK and have it still run are pretty much unrivaled, at least for everything else out there that I've ever been able to have my hands on, between the military, law enforcement, my friends that own gun stores. The thing is just unrivaled in what and how it can chew through it, even when it's completely dirty or full of mud. Number 4 on this is going to be, it is pretty easy to run. Let's just think about it. Insert mag, lock mag, charge, pull trigger, right? There's a little bit of safety action going on, of course, but relatively you can teach people that are pretty much a novice to run this thing. It's got a little bit more of a recoil impulse than other things out there, but let's be honest, you can be very young and get very, very skilled with this thing, control the recoil impulse, and just run an AK like a boss. Now, it may not be the fastest weapons platform out there, but it's definitely one that has just been used around the world in every conflict since the Kalash was actually a thing. And number 5 on this one is the round itself. Now, It's not the best round in the world, but at certain distances with the right ammo, that is an angry round. So for minute of man, which is what these are known for being able to hit because they're not the most accurate things in the world, yeah, it's a little bit of a jab at the AK crew, but within pretty decent distance, most of which most people are gonna be kind of tapped out, you know, a couple 100 meters, maybe 300-400 meters, that round is angry and it is gonna do its job. And like I said, until recently, it's been super cheap. Now step into some of that better ammo, maybe some of that hollow point style 7.62 by 39, and now you've got a really detrimental round. If you can see, I don't know, maybe some of those meat target videos, you can see what that round will do to things. All right, so we are on number 3 right there. And for my clone builders, my cloners out there, and I'm not talking them's cloners from like Star Wars, people that clone builds, give me a break. This thing's been built like 5 different times. I've gone through so many different parts on it. And that's my little SBR kind of Mark 18 clone. Yes, I know it doesn't have the right muzzle brake. Yes, I know it doesn't have the right charging handle. Yes, I know it's supposed to be a different color and not have gray furniture. So for my clone purists out there, yours probably isn't a real Mark 18 either because it's not full auto, so leave me alone. But a solid AR-15, right? It's America's rifle. It's our rifle. I've been carrying a rifle that looks like this most of my adult life, if not all of my adult life, and I am extremely partial to it, but there are a ton of benefits when it comes to the AR. The number one thing about the AR, just like the other two, it's prolific, right? Everybody has one, to include your grandma. She probably built one because they're super easy to build. They're not always super easy to get right running if you don't know what you're doing, but it's like adult Legos. The things are absolutely awesome and they're just everywhere. And number 2 for the AR platform is gonna be parts interchangeability. Americans love putting wheels on them. We love those 24s. We like the tires, we like lifts, we like anything in the world. Make the car go faster, make the car stop faster. We dig modifying things. We do the same thing with these. These are like the purses and shoes for males. Whether you want a different stock, whether you want a different grip, whether you want a different foregrip, a different muzzle brake, a different rail, a different light, a different optic, there is like a bajillion different things you can do for the AR. And as long as it's a quality part and built within that mil-spec range, you can generally interchange that between just about any AR, unless it's really specifically built or designed, or you're trying to mix mil-spec with commercial parts. Sometimes it can be an issue, but 98% of the time, as long as you know what you're doing, the parts interchangeability is off the charts, and everybody makes something for this rifle. And number 3 is that stuff right there. So this round, right, that angry little round right there, that bad boy. So the right ammunition with the right barrel length in there, depending on what you are looking to do, is an angry round. You know, whether you're using this thing up close, 10, 15 yards, or whether you're gonna try to stretch the legs on this round with the right barrel to 300 yards, 400 yards, 500 yards, depending on your build, this is an angry round that's gonna get the job done. You gotta know your ballistics, you gotta know your holdovers, especially if you're up close running higher optics, but this round will get the job done. I promise you, I've seen what that thing will do to things. And number 4 is the ease of use and the recoil impulse control. This thing is set up very easy, whether it's the magazine release, the bolt release on it, adjusting the stock to fit your specific length of pull it needs, putting different parts on here, putting accessories on this thing, changing the triggers, the sights, charging handles. This thing is super easy to work with, to work on, and to learn how to run extremely fast. This can be run far faster than an AK. I know some people are massively crazy fast with the AK and they love it, but someone who is at the same skill level with an AR is probably going to be able to run it a little bit faster than the AK because of certain things it has, like last round bolt lock and the ability to drop and flip a mag back in there far faster than an AK platform. Now, that recoil impulse control, depending on your build again, but for the most part, even something like this with a overgassed barrel to make it run through pretty much anything, you're gonna be able to have like, even your like kids run these things for the most part. I mean, we've all seen like teenage competitive shooters running ARs like a boss. So very controllable, angry round, tons of parts, lots of good stuff going on with the AR. Is it number 5? I think it's number 5. So the modularity of the platform. So whether you want an SBR like this, yes, I had to pay $200, wait several months, get that pound of flesh out of the way, and build this as an SBR. Whether you want a pistol, an SBR, a rifle, a designated marksman setup, a red dot, an LPVO, a hunting setup, you can build this thing any which way but Sunday, or twice on Sunday, I guess, if you're into it. You can do just about anything with these within the realm of reality. Are you gonna try to go 1,200 yards with a 5.56? Probably not. I'm sure some crazy person out there can do it. I sure can't. But you can build this thing any which way you want to suit your specific needs. Oh, and the honorable mention, and I know people have probably already like, in the keyboard, where's the shotgun? Why not? There's not a shotgun. I know, okay, stop. There's a reason that an outstanding shotgun, if you can't figure it out, like I kind of like gray. So Remington 870 12 gauge shotgun. Now this thing is absolutely amazing, but why is it an honorable mention? Now, if you're a follower of Clint Smith, he will tell you the right load at the right distance with that shotgun will remove a piece of you and put it on the floor behind you. I can attest to that. I've seen what a 12 gauge will do to people. It's not pretty. But here's the thing. Are you gonna hand your 10 or 12-year-old a Remington 870 and make a YouTube video out of it where they fall down the river like the drunk Russian dude into the water? We've all seen the videos. The only reason that, well, there's technically 2 reasons why the 12 gauge doesn't make it in my top 3 is it's difficult to run. Most people cannot really run a shotgun very well at all. Now you can mag dump a semi-auto or a mag fed, but can you really run that shotgun when the time comes and when it's gonna count? I would venture to say, myself included, I'm just not that good at it. And it's probably not something I'm gonna invest a lot of time in, because I'll probably be getting my collarbone reset by the end of the training class to get really up to speed on that. And then I'm probably not gonna stay up to speed on it because I'd rather run my rifle and a pistol. But that's the reason. And then that recoil impulse, okay? We have all seen the YouTube videos where, you know, shotguns fly out of people's hands. You've been to the range and you've seen the holes in the roof of the range. A lot of those are from 12 gauge shotguns. People not understanding that you pull the trigger, it goes like this, and you pull the trigger again, especially if it's semi-auto, it's gonna go through the ceiling. So those are the reasons the 12 gauge doesn't make it into my top 3 that pretty much everybody I think should have. I know there's gonna be some angry people just typing away. What about the Galil? What about an FN? What about, I know, I get it. There's a ton of stuff out there, everybody. Now, was I right or was I wrong? Remove yourself from what you really like and base it off some of the things that I did and see really what your top 3 would be. Do you think it's an AR, AK, and a Glock 19? Maybe you think it's a CZ. Maybe you think it's a 1911. I don't know. Or maybe you really like to ball and you're rolling a 2011 or a staccato out there. You know, whatever you want to do. But let me know in the comments, am I right, am I wrong, and what your top 3 would be, because I really love to hear the differences in what people like to carry out there. Well, that is what I have for you all today. I hope you guys liked the video. Make sure you guys subscribe, turn those bell notifications to all notifications on. Hit that like button if you feel that I deserved it at any point. And always remember, since it was an honorable mention, it's coming right here. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, and I will see you guys on the next one.